You ever walk into a room just knowing the whole place has already made up its mind about you? That's how it started for Olivia Jackson. And let me tell you, nobody in that courtroom was ready for what happened next, least of all the judge sitting up there on his little wooden throne, his gavel clutched tight like he could beat back his own prejudice if he just hit that thing hard enough. The first thing he said, and I'm not making this up, was, "You must not know how to read, you black woman," and you could feel the air suck right out of the place. Judge Thompson's voice was booming, mocking, throwing the kind of words you can't ever take back. "This is a court, not a zoo for stupid monkeys," he sneered. And folks actually laughed, or tried not to, but you could hear those suppressed little snickers ripple across the room. Olivia? She just stood there, hand on her cane, hair braided, white blouse, gray skirt, looking like the one sane person in a madhouse. She didn't flinch, didn't blink, just let it all land. He kept at her, calling her dumb, asking if she needed things drawn in crayon or flashcards with jungle animals. Yeah, it was that bad, and only got worse when she tried to speak. He cut her off every time, barking, "You speak when I say so. Who do you think you are?" And for a split second I saw a tear roll down her cheek. "Look, she's crying," he smirked, turning to the crowd. "Always so emotional, unless they're rioting or looting." I saw a woman in the gallery shake her head, a bailiff turn away, and for a minute you could feel everyone questioning what exactly they were witnessing. "What's the charge again?" he asked, still mocking fraud, falsifying documents, surely not writing her own name. Olivia finally got a word in, started to say what she was accused of, but he slammed the gavel again. Silence. But then something changed. She straightened her back, her voice cut through like a bell, clear and steady. "Your Honor," she said, and you could see him blink, surprised she even dared. "My name is Olivia Gabriella Jackson. I was born in Queens. I'm 32. I speak 3 languages. I graduated summa cum laude in political science and legal studies. I have a PhD in constitutional law from Columbia University." The room froze. You could hear a pin drop. She wasn't supposed to be the defendant. She was the one who had flagged the forged documents in 3 different languages. She had alerted the authorities. "I'm not the problem," she said. "I was the warning." Someone dropped a pen. Someone else started recording on their phone, slow and careful, like maybe this was the day things changed. "Oh, and by the way," she said, "I'm not Miss Jackson. I'm Dr. Jackson, Human Rights Advisor to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And let me tell you, that hit the judge like a slap. Then the side door opened, and in walked this tall man in a navy suit, clean cut, holding a briefcase. "Who are you?" Thompson snapped, but the man just flipped open his badge, cool as anything. "Special Agent Samuel Rivas, Judicial Integrity Division, DOJ. We've been observing this case with great interest." The whole place shifted. Thompson tried to bluster, shouting, "This is my courtroom." But Olivia just said, soft and dangerous, "You call this a process?" The judge went off about Harlem, fake degrees. "I've seen your kind pretending to be more than you are," and the room went cold. The kind of cold you feel in your bones when you realize something ugly just got dragged out into the light. Right then, a young guy in the gallery stood up, fists clenched. You could see the story starting to flip. "It's over," Olivia said quietly. "Still, you don't decide anything here," Thompson barked back. But then Agent Rivas stepped forward, envelope in hand. "You've been under investigation, racism, abuse of power." This trial confirmed everything. The judge paled, spluttered about a trap, but Olivia just said, "This is justice." And then twist, a silver-haired woman in a light suit walked in like she owned the place, glasses swinging from a chain, heels echoing on the marble. "What are you doing here?" the judge croaked. "My name is Elena Figueroa," she announced, "President of the National Council of Judicial Ethics. I am here to enforce your immediate suspension." She laid it out. Dr. Jackson had been summoned on a fake accusation. "Enough," she snapped when he protested. "You have no authority anymore." Phones came out, people started whispering, but Olivia stood steady. "I have something to say," she told the room. Figueroa nodded, and the place hushed. "For years," Olivia began, her voice carrying, "people have looked at me like you did today, as if my skin were a crime. I studied, I worked, I endured, not because I had something to prove to you, but because I knew my worth. But you never ask who we are, only how much you can break us. She turned to the jury, to the gallery, to every eye watching. You humiliated me, and I know you won't apologize. Men like you never do. You just lose power. She stepped forward, raising her voice. I want every second of this recorded. I want young girls, black girls, to see this moment, to know they can rise. And just then, the rear doors opened again, another figure entered, but the point had been made. The world was watching now. 2 weeks later, Olivia sat in the office of the state attorney general, ready to take it further. Are you sure about this? A lawyer asked, glancing at her complaint. More than ever, she replied, sliding over a folder packed with evidence. Discrimination, abuse of power, obstruction of justice. They protected him for years, she said, calm as ice. But for years, he destroyed lives. Removing him from the bench isn't enough. He has to face the law like anyone else. The attorney general just nodded and the wheels started turning. 3 months went by, and now it was Judge Thompson, no robe, no gavel, no power sitting in the defendant's seat, eyes darting away from the cameras, from Olivia's steady gaze. She spoke not as a victim, but for everyone who'd ever been crushed beneath his gavel. This man humiliated me, she said, tried to reduce me to nothing, not for anything I did, but because of who I am. This was no isolated incident, it was a pattern. Olivia turned to Thompson, her voice level. You're not above the law, and I am not beneath it. 6 months later, sentencing day, Thompson was found guilty on all charges, sentenced to 12 years in prison without parole, stripped of every public office. Olivia watched quietly as they handcuffed him, no smiles, no celebration, just a quiet observation. As he passed, she leaned in and whispered, now you know what it's like to be judged for what you did, not what you pretended to be. He said nothing, just walked away into a cell he'd once filled with others. You'd think that'd be the end of it, right? But the story kept going. Olivia was invited to speak at Harvard at the United Nations, but her mission didn't change. She went right back to the neighborhoods, defending the people who never made the news, who got ignored and overlooked. She fought not for revenge, but because she knew what it was like to stand in front of a judge who didn't see you as human, and she knew how it felt when the world finally started to listen. A year later, State Correctional Facility, medical unit, are you sure you want to see him? A guard asked, voice full of respect. Yes, Olivia said, but not for him. She walked into the sterile hallway, into the visitation room. Behind the glass sat Thompson, pale, thin, breathing through a nasal tube. Their eyes met. He reached for the phone. She did too. Thank you for coming, he rasped. I didn't think you would. She said nothing, just listened. All my life, I thought power meant having the last word. Mocking, controlling. I was raised that way, praised for being harsh, but I was never strong. I was cruel. Olivia stayed silent. When you spoke that day, he said, I realized what I truly am. I saw what I destroyed to keep my false authority. I can't undo it. But if you'll listen, I want to apologize not for myself, but for everyone I hurt. She looked at him. No hatred, no compassion, just truth. I didn't come here to forgive you, she said, calm as ever. What you did can't be erased. But I came to tell you something. He looked down, broken. You tried to break me. You failed. What I am doesn't depend on your judgment. It depends on what I chose to become, even when no one saw me. Tears filled his eyes. When you leave this world, take this with you. You didn't break me. You made me stronger. She hung up the phone, stood, glanced at him one last time. Justice exists, Mr. Thompson. You proved it. She walked out, the door closing soft behind her. Thompson sat there alone, phone dead in his hand, and for the first time in his life, he didn't want to speak anymore. So let me throw it to you. Is that justice? Is it enough for a broken man to lose everything? Or should there be more? How many more Olivias are out there, waiting for someone to listen? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just her story, it's all of ours.